Hey, this is Mike Barnes, the financial first responder. Hey, have you ever thought about I am who I am? For those who can't see my t-shirt here, that's what this says. I am who I am. And for a few minutes, I'm going to talk to you about some of the lessons I learned. Some, most, all of these financial principles that I'm about to give you are in the Bible. You just got to look for them. And as a financial advisor, financial first responder, I am looking at ways that I can instruct and train and educate the top 1%, the one percenters, as I like to say, military, law enforcement, veterans, doctors, the people that are on the front lines, the ones that are the medical, essential, the law enforcement, the military, those people that put it all on the line that actually go out and help others. So, without further ado, this is Mike Barnes, Financial First Responder. Please like and subscribe my channel. Share with another veteran, military person, police, firefighter, those people who are first responders. Now, I'm going to give you a little story first before we get started. And I want you to think about in Exodus 13, where Moses was told by God to actually go out and do a certain thing. Now, my father and I were talking about this, and my father, for those of y'all that don't know, my father was a pastor for 44 years and he retired. And at the ripe age of 80, we have some very intellectual conversations. I always talk to him. He has a doctorate in divinity. So he studied this most of his life. And I like to lean on some of his information that he gives me, especially when we talk about finance. So here's the story. So my dad and I were talking, and we were talking about the burning bush, and he had me thinking as he was talking about it. He was like, when you talk about the burning bush, people think that the burning bush could not have really happened because fire consumes us or consumes the actual bush. But because God did it and he spoke to Moses through that tool, I will say, it got me thinking that a lot of your finances are on fire. And it's not really what it looks like or what it seems. It's what you speak into your life financially and what you have received from it. You didn't get in debt in one night and you're not going to get out of debt in one night. And then it also brings to light that everything that we see in life is not really what we think we see, it's what we think we know. And what do I mean by that? Most people are confused by their sight. They get images or they get views in their mind based off of what they think they see. Sometimes it's not what you see, it's sometimes what you hear. It has everything to do with your sense of smell, taste, touch. And when it comes to finances, what my dad actually showed me and actually exposed to me, and shout out to Reverend Charles Barnes, retired, Dr. Reverend Charles Barnes, excuse me. He actually gave me some insight that I'm going to now share with you through 5 principles. So, without anything further to say or to do, let's get started. So, this first thing we have to look at is, who am I? So, I am who I am, meaning that you are who you are in all sense of the words, right? And I am who I am. Those 5 words, right? So drawing from the profound statement I am who I am in Exodus 3:14 and relating it to your financial responsibilities, I've come up with 5 lessons. Now, if you stick with me, you're going to get something from these 5 lessons. So, let's go. The first lesson deals with authenticity and integrity. You see, just as I am who I am reflects in a deep sense of being true to oneself, financial responsibility demands that authenticity and the integrity. It's about being honest with yourself, people, and others regarding your financial situation, goals, and capabilities. You see, a lot of times we're basically basing our financial lives based on how others react to us. Maybe we're trying to show them we're doing well. Maybe we're trying to make people think that we're at a higher status than what we are. But sometimes we're living our life based off of how other people see us. Now, here's the application to the lesson. What you want to do is you want to maintain transparency in all your financial dealings, avoid deceptive practices, and build trust by being reliable and honest. Now, husbands, you need to talk to your wives. Wives, you need to talk to your husbands. Parents, you need to talk to your children. Because a lot of times, the reason why we fail at finances as a people is because we are not transparent with one another. You know, I did something back at Christmas. I talked about the real gift to life was not giving presents under the tree, but it was the time that you spent. A lot of you spend money trying to replace your time. And one thing that I know, I just had a birthday, and my children and my wife asked me what I wanted, and I said, hey, I just want us to have fun. I want us to spend time together, because tomorrow's not promised, right? And what we're going to remember, we're not going to remember the stuff that somebody bought us. We're going to remember the time we spent with that person, our loved ones. So with that said, my next lesson to you is steadfast commitment. See, the phrase embodies steadfastness and unchanging nature. Similarly, your financial responsibilities require a commitment, or to be committed and be consistent in your approach. Now you say, well, Mr. Financial First Responder, Mike Barnes, how do I apply that? Well, one of the ways you apply that is you develop and adhere to a financial plan. You become disciplined in your savings and investing, and you stay focused on your long-term financial goals despite short-term challenges. Now, we're going to go a little bit further in that, but you see, when you look at your burning bush, and we're talking about saving and investing, if you pay yourself less than what you spend in your bills, you're wrong. You should be paying yourself 10 to 20% of what your bring home pay is. So with that said, now you want to have this lesson here, because a lot of people don't think about this lesson. What is that, you ask? Self-sufficiency and independence. See, in this lesson, I am who I am signifies self-sufficiency. See, financially, this translates to striving for independence and reducing reliance on exterior or external factors. Now, for those of you that live by credit cards, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong, but I'm not going to tell you you're right either. And I don't necessarily agree with some of the greats out there and some of their mantra, but I will tell you that credit has something to do with leverage. You're leveraging other people's money. You just need to make sure that they don't leverage you. So how do we apply this, you ask? We work towards financial independence by creating multiple income streams. I say again, you do this by creating multiple income streams, building an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months set aside, and making informed investment decisions. Now, as a financial advisor, financial first responder, I hope and pray that your financial advisor, your financial personnel that you deal with are talking to you about extra or multiple streams of income. See, most of the times what you do is you have people talking to you about just manage what you got. You got a good job or you got a good career. Be happy with what you got and just manage it. Matter of fact, my pastor says all the time, people don't have a money problem. They have a management problem. Now, how do you get away from a management problem? You monitor the money you spend and you make more money, called cash flow. Now, this next thing is really important. I think it's one of the best lessons that I'm going to teach you today. What is that? Responsibility and accountability. You see, in this lesson, the statement can also be seen as taking full responsibility for one's identity, or financial identity to be exact, your financial responsibility is similarly to that involves being accountable for your financial decisions and their impacts. You see, as a husband or as a wife or as a significant other or as a parent, we have some inherent responsibilities to our spouses or children, right? And we're being held accountable, or we should be held accountable based off of those loved ones. See, now here's the application that I would teach you. Regularly, you want to review your financial activities, take responsibility for your financial missteps, and make adjustments to stay on track. Now, I don't know how many of you were ever taught how to write a check or use a checkbook registry, but I can tell you, having worked at a bank, we used to charge people to actually help them be able to balance their actual checkbook. Now, I know that most people look at their balance and they say, hey, I got X and this and I've spent Y, but you still need to keep some type of financial registry so that you know from day to day how much money you have available for what you need to do in your life. You know, true, you may pay all your bills and pay everything on time. However, if you don't have any money left, but you got month left, most people say, I got more month left than I do money. You need to change that situation. That goes back to earning extra income. Whatever it is, maybe you're a consultant, maybe you wrote a book, or maybe you are doing something from the standpoint of a part-time job or career, or maybe you have contracting you're doing. Whatever it is you're doing, you're able to make extra money from it. Now, this next lesson, and I probably should have put this first, but I'm putting it last because it says in the Bible that the last will be first and the first will be last. So, with that said, I'm going to put this in your brain for a second. Here's your lesson. You have to have purpose and vision. See, it says in the Bible that our people perish because of lack of knowledge or lack of vision. So in this lesson, I am who I am speaks to a clear sense of purpose. You have to have your financial responsibilities so that is more meaningful to you and your family, and it helps you have driven and clear vision of where you're trying to go and a purpose for your financial life. Now, how do we apply that, Mr. Financial First Responder? Well, I'm glad you asked. You see, we define your financial goals with a clear purpose, whether it's securing your future, supporting your family, or contributing to your community. Let this vision guide your financial decisions and strategies. You see, what we're coming to now, we're coming to a close, is we're coming to, well, how do I do this, Mr. Financial First Responder? In summary, see, we talked about authenticity and integrity. We talked about being honest with oneself and transparent in the financial dealings to build trust and reliability. Now, you'll notice I have an eagle and a fingerprint here, and everybody's fingerprint is unique. No one person has the same fingerprint, just like no one person has the same financial print. Steadfast commitment. Maintain a consistent and disciplined approach to saving and investing and financial planning. See, the eagle is a symbol of leadership, is a symbol of freedom, is a symbol of superiority. Eagle, right? My university I went to, our mascot was an eagle, right? Because we fly higher than any common barnyard fowl. Now, let's talk about self-sufficiency and independence. See, you need to strive for financial independence by diversifying your income and building an emergency fund. Responsibility and accountability. You need to take responsibility for your financial decisions and regularly review and adjust your financial plan. Now, here's the problem. If you don't have a financial plan, that's a problem. Purpose and vision. You need to define your clear financial goals with a purposeful vision to guide your financial decisions and strategies. You see, these lessons form a strong foundation for managing personal finances and advising others, emphasizing honesty and commitment, independence, accountability, and purposeful planning. Now, parents, I know that we don't always talk to our children about money, and we sometimes may be embarrassed about our financial situation. But what I want you to do is I want you to start talking to your children about the expenses that you have. Explain to them, because what that does is not only does it teach them about your mistakes you may have made or your successes, it will also help you become more accountable, because out of the mouth of babes come wisdom. When they start asking you, why do you do what you do? It's not that they're questioning you, they want understanding. So, this is Mike Barnes, the financial first responder. I thank you for your time and your patience. And I hope that you learn I am who I am financially. Until we talk again, God bless.